This episode of Super Pulp Science is brought to you by the FanQuest Virtual Halloween Ball. Friday, October 30th from 6 p.m. till midnight, we have a horror creators panel, we have cosplay showcase, horror trivia, and we'll be watching some scary movies and TV shows. Come join us, facebook.com/FanQuestCon.
Attention, citizens. It's time for Super Pulp Science.
This is Super Pulp Science, where we talk about how genre gets made. I'm here with my co-host, Dan Vadeboncoeur, our producer extraordinaire, and my long-suffering studio mate, Justin Curry, also known as Chasing Artwork, who seems to be furiously responding to social media inquiries about his new foil store. How are things going, guys?
Good.
Is that what you're doing?
So I recently got an order of foils. And so with a lot of printers, they always have, like if you want 50 of something, they usually print 55, 56, just in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, it's not quite an exact science either, too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So it's you either get exactly what you wanted, you either get exact numbers, or you get a couple extras is usually how it goes. You never get less than what you wanted. But in this case, there was a couple files that I got like exactly the amount I ordered, but there was one or two misprints in there. And with the foils, it's a vector shape that you send away, and they make a metal die of it, and they hit the paper with the foil stamp first. So it's a blank piece of paper with now this gold shape on it. And then they take that and they run it through a normal printing process, so it gets the piece printed on top. So my artwork prints with where the foil's going to shine through, that's all
Cut
blank,
out.
that's all white. So then it comes out as a print with this nice foil shiny bit. But on a couple of these, the foil stamp only seemed to hit about half the paper. So there's this big hard line where the gold stops.
Oh, wow.
And then there's just nothing.
Huh.
So it, and normally I wouldn't.
So those are the half price.
Literally, half off.
But because these are all limited edition, they're all hand numbered out of
Right.
250 or 300. If I'm missing a couple, that's kind of a bigger deal than if it was just a normal print and I could print more. I'm only printing that amount. So any one that gets damaged or missing kind of is a big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So your problem, really, what you're saying is that your honesty has put you in this predicament. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Actually, I had a problem with one of my book printers. Like early on, I did an art book where I only wanted 500, and they gave me like 570 because they had overprinting, and I didn't understand about overprinting at that time.
Right.
And they charge you for those extras as well. They
For the dear listener, this is a good point to bring it up, that when you're doing any kind of print run, usually over 1,000, there'll be an overage of anywhere, but usually it's about 5%.
5 to 10%.
Yeah, could be up to 10%.
Yeah.
I've rarely got overages more than 5%, but you get charged for those extra books, and they get shipped to you, and it usually is the half box that shows up with the rest of your ship. And it's just part of how the machine runs. The machine has to get up to speed to be optimal, and then it has to sort of run down again when it's turning off. So there's always a few books that come off before and after.
I used to work in printing, and I gotta say that I worked at a sticker factory, so we did it was screen printing mainly, and I gotta say that I think that kind of stuff should be built into the initial cost of it when they, you know what I mean? It feels like those should be like over and above, like you've already paid for the materials, the labor, you've paid for everything in your fee that you pay, and then really that should just. It should just be, sorry, distractions happening around the studio here. But it's something that basically you shouldn't have, I don't think you should have to pay for those extras. Should be a bonus, right? I know that this is just the way it's done, but that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, well, it's almost like what you're suggesting is that a business should
stick to its word.
Well, that honestly, so
they're just taking advantage of the fact that they have like a margin of error in their process, which is fine.
Yeah.
But that margin of error should be counted by the actual fee that you pay.
Yeah.
Not by by the way, we have 10 million, not 10 million. We have extras.
Especially
pay for
if you're the professional doing the printing, you
Yeah.
feel like you're the one that should understand and work that cost
Yeah.
in. I tend to agree with you. I would love to see a spreadsheet that calculated that extra 5% overage across an entire printer's year
Yeah, how much more money do they make because of that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For books you didn't ask for or didn't want, right? I mean, we usually want them, but in this case, when it's limited run.
And that's why they get away with it, because you usually can get rid of them. You're not too, oh, darn it, I have a little bit extra. It's not usually a huge deal, but
Yeah.
Well,
I
there's
bet you it
always
adds
a
up.
couple books that are going to get damaged along the way, like from the printer to you. There's going to be
shipping.
some misprints, and so that's kind of a safety net for them too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, 3 books screwed up, but we gave you 12 extras. So.
Yeah.
But you charge them for 12
Yeah.
right? So it's not the same.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No, I like it. So I guess our theme today is like truth in advertising. So on that theme, Justin, truth in advertising, Dragon Nanny, off to the printer, you say,
Off to the printer. Yes.
right? Just like you promised on your Kickstarter.
On October 9th, which was a Friday, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, this
Friday.
was last Friday.
Yeah. It was a couple days of barely sleeping and then back and forth with the printers and sent all my files off. So what happens now is like I sent off a cover file and then the guts of the book and the end sheets, which are like the inside between the hardcover and the book. Those are printed on as well. And the printer goes through them all and tries to pick apart if there's any mistakes or any errors that they see on their end.
What are those common errors, just for the person that's wondering right now?
Yeah, low res is a common one. Like as you're building artwork for panels, you build them one size, and once you get them into InDesign and you start playing around with the size, you realize you want it bigger or like a different crop, and then you stretching that makes the DPI go from 300 to maybe like 250.
Right.
And if you do that too much, then you're going to be able to notice on the print file this image is getting a little blurry. So they look for things like that.
Bleed is another big one.
Yeah, if you have stuff that's just near the edge of where the book's going to get cut, but you don't have it bleeding off where it's going to get cut, so it could end up with white slivers near the edge of your page. That's a big no-no, so they double check stuff like that. They're basically trying to find any mistake that could potentially happen and tell you about it just in case it does happen. They've covered themselves.
They've flagged
and
it.
you know. Yeah.
And then you
so-
have to physically say yes. You have to sign a little release saying, I've looked at that. Yes, in fact, that's an error I'm willing to live with, which we
My
sometimes do.
first book or two, I felt quite bad because they came with all these little issues, and I thought I'd sent them like horribly set up files, but it just turns out they have to be very overly cautious. So there was a lot of things that didn't really need attention, but they need to bring it up just in case.
Yeah.
So don't be too discouraged, anybody.
Don't be too
your
discouraged.
First book off to the you didn't make a ton of errors.
That's right.
You just.
I think I had like 150, maybe 200 flags on a 150-page book of the Imagination Manifesto, the first one. But all it was most of them were bleed issues where I had a lot of black on the edge of the page, and I had to make sure that it went far enough past the edge so that if the blade is off by a millimeter or two another direction, it doesn't leave a white cap. Things like that. So you just have to approve it and say like, yes. So those 150 errors actually there was only 10 really that needed actual attention, but they're doing their due diligence to make sure you
Something I
attention.
still find like I get it, but I still think it's dumb. Is if you're getting a book printed with an offset press.
Oh,
which
here we go.
means-
Yeah. Oh, I'm so angry at this.
You
too.
know what's going. Yeah, you know what's coming.
Yeah.
So an offset press is this huge building-sized machine with 4 plates for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, and this huge poster-size sheet of paper comes down the line and gets stamped with all the colors, and at the end of it is a page of your book, and this happens over and over again. And it takes a very long time, or it's very expensive to set up these sheets and set up the machine and blah, blah, blah. So before you get a book printed, they send you a proof of some of your finished pages. But the problem is they send you a digital proof, which means it's printed digitally.
on a different printer
On a different printer. Nothing close to what your book is going to get printed on.
where all the colors come out of the little jets at the same time, just like your inkjet
Just
printer
like a
at home.
normal mom and pop printer down the way. So they send you this, like, here's what your book's going to look like, maybe, proof for you to sign off on.
Here's what we'd like your book to look like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it might not work. So it's funny you say that because on the third Imagination Manifesto, the colors are very wrong.
Oh, because on the
Because I
digital
signed
proof.
off on my proof,
Yeah.
and then the machine that it came off on was a different machine than the proof, and it was I mean, the book itself is kind of weird and a little bit experimental. So those shades that we're off by, to the average consumer, they have no idea. I was quite upset. And so I had to, and maybe this is a good time to bring it up. When I was upset, they said, listen, we could pulp the run and start over, but then you have to wait again, however many months. Or what should we do? And I said, well, give me a monetary, apology.
Yeah, that's right.
Show me that you mean it by adjusting the final bill to represent. I can live with it because my consumer in this case doesn't know that green should be 2 shades higher because the last book doesn't match. They all had a different tone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? So I was able to live with it. And it was experimental and it was a short run. It was like under 2,000 copies. So, we made it work.
You will go out there.
I won't, and nothing you say will make me.
The show must go on.
Damn you.
Where is Dragon Nanny right now?
So right now it's getting torn apart by their pre-press departments, and they're trying to find any issues. So I've been kind of like on edge, waiting to get that email to see if there's any major changes.
There'll be something, but I don't think can't be that major.
Yeah, and well, actually, every book I've done, there's been less and less because I know that, that's not a big concern. There's like very little chance that's going to be a problem. But they're very overly cautious. And now I've done enough books to kind of know. So I'm only expecting of like the 26 errors that they managed to find, probably maybe 1, 2 to 3 need to actually be addressed.
And it's important to point out too, I think, for someone who is thinking to start this, it's pretty standard that those couple of pages, they charge you to fix them.
Oh,
They charge you
okay.
per page.
Yeah, per page. So you've set up, you've received your quote so that you know what to budget for the total print run. And then they've given you a sort of a window of how much the pre-production will cost. But then every change that happens after you submit the file costs you more.
They don't build any changes into it?
No.
Oh.
And there's different, like if you make the changes in resupply up to a certain amount, I think is free. Like I can submit up to like 5, I don't know the actual numbers, depends on the printer.
Yeah.
But if there's only 5 pages that need tweaks, I can resend those 5 pages and it's fine. If it's over 5 pages, then it's enough work that they need to charge.
I'd have to refresh my memory. I feel like it was a percentage of the total page count.
I believe so.
Is how they calculate that.
And then you can also, if you're too busy, like if it's a change they can do on their end, they can also do it on their end and you
bill
pay for
you
that. Yeah.
their graphic design.
I feel like the printing industry is very lucrative, and they basically get to say it's all your fault if they make a mistake, kind of thing.
It can be lucrative. I would not want to ship, store, and warehouse paper.
No, I know. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So,
But there's very little fault at the printer's end, right? It's all like, do all this stuff properly,
Yeah.
and it'll go well. But if you mess up even one thing,
yeah.
we're going to charge you for it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, like,
And I mean, this is the way the industry is. I don't mean to complain about it, whatever.
well,
it's not even my problem.
Sorry, you worked at a
I worked
sticker?
at a sticker factory. I
How-
was in the shipping department, though.
Okay.
So I didn't actually do the
But
printing.
you didn't have to deal with the people who don't understand what DPI is, what
Yes, that's
CMYK
true. Yes,
is,
yeah.
what, like, I just downloaded it off the internet, and so I can print it, right?
Yeah, and I
Those
did get,
people are the bane of everyone's
I
existence.
did get that experience when I worked at the ad agency I worked at, where I did have clients that were like that very much. Here's an image, here's our logo, and it's just like a really, really low res logo on like a white background. It's awful. Yeah, some people don't understand that aspect of it.
But this is also, this isn't us saying like these are the things that we wish would change or we're never printing again. These are just things these are the problems that
is
we
part of it.
faced
Yeah.
that are part of doing the job.
We get
that
to
you,
complain about work sometimes, too.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. That these are the things like every job has the stuff you wish was a little bit different.
Yeah.
That would smooth it all out for everyone. That it'll probably take 50 years and 10 new innovations before they go away.
Yes.
So these are the things where like printers probably have a best practice that would fix all that, but it would require training all their clients. So often it's about retraining the clients and not the company itself.
For example, like most digital printers can handle RGB really well these days. Like if you send RGB is for web images that are going to be seen on a screen. RGB is what colors made out of light, and CMYK is what physical ink you mix together to make, right? So if you used to send RGB to a printer, the printer can't print in RGB, so it would kind of scramble things and will look like crap.
Right.
They've since developed programs to really translate that.
Really
so
well.
now you can send files in the wrong color gamut to a printer and it'll print fine. But nobody really talks about that.
Yeah, because they don't want to let the average person believe that they can download something off the internet in RGB and it will work. Because most of the time that won't work. But if you're exporting from your InDesign or your InDesign will automatically CMYK convert. But I work, for example, in my Photoshop, my files, the filters, the layers, and the light effects that I use multiplied into each other only works in RBG.
And then you flatten it at the very end,
then I have
right?
to flatten it as my last step.
Is it RGB or RBG?
Red, green, blue.
Red, green, blue. You got me caught up with a judge.
You think about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah.
The notorious RBG.
Right, yeah. She's the notorious. The world would be a better place if she was still in it.
Yes, that's true.
Sure. So these are some of the steps where, like, when a person isn't conversant in the language of printing, graphic design, it can be very frustrating. And that's why they charge so much for those changes.
Right.
Because what they're anticipating is you don't know anything.
Okay.
And we have to fix it.
And it's like a deterrent. So you better, by the next time you do this, you better know what you're doing or else you're going to pay more money.
Yeah. Or you hire someone to do your pre-press ahead of time who does know.
Yes.
Right.
And then what you're talking about as far as a change in the industry goes, that reminds me of the conversation you had with Lovern. I don't kind of pronounce Kinzersley. How do you say his last name?
Kinzerski.
Yeah. Lovern Kinzerski, when he was on the podcast talking about how
Lovern.
Lovern?
Yeah. If he's listening, he'll be mad if I don't correct you. Lovern Kinzerski.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
You can like drag that Z out if you really want to make it sound sexy.
He talked about when he started coloring comic books digitally, how much of resistance he got from industry, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that was a revolution. And that, I mean, now everybody does it that way, but at the time, nobody was doing it that way, and he really had to fight to show people that this was going to work. So,
yeah, it was a
great
big
conversation. I'm going to link to that in the show notes below, just so people can.
Yeah, that was a great
that
episode. An interesting thing about that too is that period in comics history was the period in which essentially assistants disappeared. So it used to be if you made comics, you had to have assistants. You had to have an assistant to help size up your art sometimes. You had to transfer it onto a board. Sometimes you had an assistant ink the backgrounds while you did the foreground. If you needed to do your work in color, you needed an assistant to do color separations. You would give them a guide, and then they would do the taxing work of separating that CMYK conversion. All that stuff required lots of different people to be learning about the steps of making comics before they made their own comics. They would know the constituent parts of how it came together. Along comes desktop computing, and suddenly the entire industry of assistants is obliterated. And so I think when you're talking about that resistance, it wasn't just that, oh, it's new and I don't like it. It was that you were legitimately saying, this is the end to a way of life.
We've automated the car factories.
That's right.
You all don't have jobs anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Oh,
so
man.
you can see that resistance built into, because if you multiply that by, hundreds of books being made every month at the comic book level, right? You're talking about 500, 1,000 jobs, and these are people you've known your whole life, right? So when someone's like, "Don't worry, we can do that all digitally," right? Don't worry, those 1,000 people that you used to pay and who relied on you for their well-being, you don't need them.
Yeah.
There's a whole other human calculation that goes on, I think.
That's
right?
tough.
I'm definitely pro-innovation, but it's not without its costs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kickstarter is a good example of that, coming back around to our topic, right? You and I, and Sam Biko, basically have done the job that would normally
And
in
Will.
traditional publishing. Yeah, Will, I guess, right at the start also. Yeah, he did our heavy lifting at the beginning. The four of us did a job that would normally in traditional publishing, 20 years ago, take 15 or 20 people to do, right? And that's largely because computers have done what they've always promised, right? Make one person capable of doing much more labor. So it's democratized the idea from idea to consumer, but it's, it's not without its cost.
I was on the show in 82, episode 81. Got killed by a lava monster before the first commercial.
It's crazy. I was watching this tutorial just for fun. Well, actually, because my kids are interested in it, so I was trying to learn ahead of the curve enough that I could teach down to them some of these programs. But this ability to like draw a 2D illustration, drop it into some of these programs, it mocks up a rough 3D version that you can just grab its nose now and twist it. Like, that was the work of hundreds of hours before.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it will get there, right? We're going to see one-shop animation studios or one
Well,
person.
it's already
games as
happening.
well.
It's already happening on YouTube. Those kind of single-person animators. There's a huge category of those guys on YouTube and for video games. Last night I was just playing Sonic Mania. Have you played Sonic Mania? It's from a few years back. It's the game that kind of brought Sonic the Hedgehog back to
I was
being-
gonna say there's been a lot of crap Sonic games.
Yes.
Is this one of the good ones?
It's really good, and it's such a and the story behind it is that the guy they hired to be the main developer on it had done a couple of fan Sonic games.
There you go.
So
Oh,
he
so
coded
they,
in kind of this
yeah.
underground hacking community. He was part of this where they make their own Sonic games.
Yeah.
And so based on that work, they hired him. Sega actually hired him to do this one, which is it's just a great homage to the original Sonic the Hedgehog. And it's got Knuckles and Tails and all the characters you love. And it really feels like a Sonic game as opposed to a lot of those ones that came out even in the last decade that were kind of 3D and a bit weird and not really, like, didn't really feel like Sonic games.
Yeah, well,
They did
they
it.
just kind of let the license go to
Whoever wanted, whoever
so-
could pay for it, and then that kind of the quality went down.
Yeah.
But from that kind of small community of creators, this guy was able to, I guess, quote unquote, go legit. And yeah, the same thing for animators and comic books and everything else. So
Yeah.
anybody can do anything these days.
Yeah, and it's podcasting even is a great example of that, right?
Sure.
You used to, you know,
You used to have to go to a radio station to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
or if you were pirate radioing, like people would show up at your house, right, and arrest you.
You used to have
for
to
doing
load it to the back of your truck and drive around like Christian Slater.
Slater, pump up the volume. We used to have to pump the volume up for this stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, this is exactly it, right? So, what will the next thing be? It's interesting, and I think you got to underline it. The COVID situation has forced a lot of people to reevaluate what the regular way of doing things is versus what if there was a different way to do things. And I think a lot of industries we're going to see a year from now make some significant changes in, number one, probably firing most of their middle management. And number two, making actual innovative changes.
Also reducing office space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making more people are going to be. Everyone's just going to keep working from home. I
Yeah,
think.
why wouldn't
like,
you?
Why would you pay for extra office space?
Yeah.
When you can just work from home.
If your productivity is the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's-
Totally.
Not that I want you guys to give up the studio. I really like the studio.
No, we
It's
like
very,
it.
very cool.
Well, I mean, the thing is, for us, it's a real calculation, I would say. If Dragon Nanny becomes book after that, then the studio is required for the housing and the logistics of moving thousands of books to their next point of destination.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not true and shows don't come back and
Shows are going to come back. Shows are going to come back. They're going to come back, Greg.
as long
He's looking at me.
The expression was not.
Well, I mean, he's wearing a
hopeful.
mask, and I can still tell the expression on his
Yeah.
face.
it'll be a long time.
It's gonna be
before
a
they
while,
come
yeah,
back.
be a
And they
couple
won't
years.
come back the way they were before.
No.
And nor should they. And I mean, all the things that we never said on our podcast about the problematic lifestyle of conventions, the waste, the greed, the corruption, all that stuff.
The bad hygiene?
Right? The bad hygiene. But, you
There's
know,
certain smells at conventions I've noticed.
the fueling of a speculator market. Like, let's take Funkos for an example.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, this is unhealthy casino level evil of like, we're going to make sure that these people who are super addicted to this purchasing system have something else to spend their money on within 3 weeks, right? Like, that kind of stuff is all being picked apart right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not it all comes back, I hope it all doesn't come back. I hope only the good parts come back. Shows like FanQuest, and I'm not just saying that because you're on our team, but shows like FanQuest that are more focused on on the experience and not the cash register.
And much smaller in scale as
Yeah,
well, right?
I hope are the shows that come back.
Yeah.
And shows like TCAF, VanCAF, shows that are showcasing that they're equal parts. They're very financially rewarding, but they're also artistically sound, right? They have artistic integrity at their core of their management. These are the kinds of shows I hope become sort of the new flag bearers of what comes back safely.
Well, now, what about the idea? And one of the reasons we did FanQuest is because we didn't like the idea of charging for autographs. That whole idea, the whole system that's in place. And now what's happening? And I'm on these mailing lists because I run a convention. I get emails from people offering up talent for virtual appearances.
Yeah.
Right. So like you have them on Zoom and you can talk to them on Zoom. And then they also offer us a session of like autograph signing where the person, it's almost like a virtual line like you would get at a convention. So, one by one, people can sign up for this. They can have a virtual, like a few minutes with the guest, speak to them. The person signs their print or whatever it is or their photo, and then that gets mailed to them at a later date. That's how that works. But you actually do see them sign it, so you know that they signed it, that kind of thing.
I'm going to call it right now that that a few of those guests, the number of inappropriate interactions that they will have is going to...
Oh, probably.
Is going to...
I don't know about the privacy around these meetings or anything. I don't know exactly how it works.
Well, whatever the privacy is, if it's a one-on-one
Remember
meeting...
chat roulette? How that quickly
that's
turned
what it'll
into...
end up being. It'll be chat roulette, but you might have Henry Cavill at the other end.
Well, the thing, Henry Cavill doesn't need to do this, but there's a certain category of con guests that this is their main source of income or these appearances, and it's been affected by this. Now, I follow a number of these people on TikTok. I'm kind of a big fan of TikTok. I don't know if I told you guys that or not.
I just like the way you say TikTok. Say it again.
TikTok. Okay.
I don't know what it is. Say it again.
TikTok. So I follow a number of quote unquote celebrities. There's different levels of celebrity, but one of the guys, his name is Sean Whalen. And you might know him as he's been many characters over the years, bit parts and a bunch of stuff. But he was most notably the guy who lives under the stairs and the people under the stairs.
Oh yeah.
I can't talk his. Don't remember his name now.
What's his name? I know who that actor you're talking about.
Roach. His name's Roach.
Yeah.
So he was that guy. He was also the guy in the famous Got Milk ad about Alexander Hamilton, which is hilarious considering that the musical is now popular. But this was an ad back in the late 80s where the guy was asking a trivia question and the guy can't speak because his mouth is full of like chocolate cookies or something.
That's right, yeah.
He needs milk to clear his throat and he can't answer the question, which is who shot Alexander Hamilton. And we all know the answer to that now, but do your kids know the answer to that?
No, they for sure don't.
Okay.
No.
My kids do.
Yeah.
But
our
anyway,
education has not yet swung around to political murders.
Well, yeah, it's on Disney Plus, man.
But
You
we're
just need to
getting
watch it.
there.
Anyway, this actor,
We're getting there. And look, they're both looking at me right now, grinning. Yeah, don't worry, political murders are on the list of things we'll talk about.
He is one of these actors that has been in a bunch of different things, including Twister, including all these major, huge movies that he played bit parts in. And so in his career now is going to cons, although he does still get some acting work. But he's doing this all virtually through TikTok. He has live signing sessions on TikTok, and he does it all himself.
Yeah.
Where people can send him money for the thing, and he'll sign it, and he'll talk to people. And it's really cool that he's going to be resourceful this
where
way.
celebrities will...
Oh, Cameo.
Yeah. Yeah. This is, I think, the probably necessary erosion of the idea of celebrity is occurring right now.
Okay.
Right? That's what I think.
So it's like anything is available if you have the right amount of money?
Yeah, but that was always true. What I'm saying is that now for a small amount of money, they're still available to you. So as that bar gets lower and lower and lower, people will start to realize the real truth of celebrity, which is that the notion of celebrity is worthless and just the talent behind it is what's of value. So coming back to this honesty, Justin, for example, he's worried because he has 4 prints that didn't work, and that means what he's promised as the number available. There are many vendors in comic book land that wouldn't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
They would just overprint and oversell, and they would just take advantage of the consumer's lack of knowledge, right? And so those are the people that I hope don't come back when shows start.
The baseball card people.
The baseball card people.
Yeah. I get that.
Right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember that.
Speculators ruin the market.
Is this about the gig tomorrow? Just hammer out the details with my agent and make sure there's a limo at my house. Last time I did one of these gigs, they shoved me in the back of a Toyota.
Now that we are able to do this virtually, with pretty much anybody who wants to do it, you don't need that physical interaction. You don't need that in-person interaction.
Yeah.
The virtual interaction becomes just as valuable. right? So people are you don't have to travel
Monetarily, yeah, it does.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't think they're charging as much for. Actually, I don't know what the prices are for the autographs, but I suspect it would not be as much as it would be in
Yeah.
person.
It's probably just a recording of them saying, "Oh yes, oh yeah, okay,
to Don,
okay,
Don,
to,
Dan,
got
Don.
it, yeah."
They spout off a couple of their famous lines.
Yeah.
You know, by Grabthar's hammer. And
That's a great. That movie perfectly depicts that lifestyle.
Yes, and I think we've picked the movie
Yeah.
that we have to put in this
All right.
episode.
Well,
now.
I can do that. I don't know if I've done that one yet, but I can
Galaxy
do it again.
Quest.
so that,
Yeah. But that
has-
movie does a great job with that.
Dan, have you checked out, is it Lower Decks? The
Not
new-
yet. No, I've not
I hear
seen it
good
yet.
things.
Yeah,
You hear
me
good
too.
things?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
I
a
hear
Star
that
Trek
Lower
series.
Decks is using, for the listener who doesn't know what we're talking about, Lower Decks is like an animated, satirical Star Trek show.
Like
but-
Family Guy meets Star Trek, but not quite as crass as Family Guy.
Yeah,
No?
and a whole bunch
Okay.
of the dumb Star Trek toys that went into licensing frenzy that came around like you just re-sticker toys.
Mm-hmm.
They've made a bunch of them canon, like the Spock helmet and a bunch of things like that.
Really?
Like they've
Oh, that's
put into the Lower Decks. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So
Well,
all that
interesting.
stuff that you asked yourself, what the hell does it have to do with Star Trek? They've put in. Yeah.
I love that idea of iconic story. Star Wars did this. Biggs and Wedge are dead, or
Oh yeah.
where it was about two stormtroopers, and it just follows their day to day on the Death Star and how they end up like escaping the Death Star before it explodes, all just by accident. They don't know what's going on.
That's not canon, though, is it? I don't think it is.
No,
I don't
Oh,
know.
you would know if
No,
anybody.
I don't think.
If anyone would
that's
know,
canon.
it's the guy who runs the Star Wars podcast.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's canon.
But I do like that idea of that iconic story, and then seeing a side story happening kind of along the same timeline.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Yes, okay, yeah, that's probably what that Star Wars thing
Is
was
referencing, for
based
sure,
on
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And Star Wars almost did it. They almost had a series called Detours,
Mm-hmm.
which was an animated series, and they produced like probably 30 episodes of the
I've
series.
seen about 10 episodes. For a while, they were available on YouTube.
Yeah, and they've been and Lucasfilm has cracked down. Disney has cracked down on
Yeah.
that. As soon as Disney bought Lucasfilm, that was quashed.
Yeah.
Not appropriate. Not in line with the brand of Star Wars, the kid-friendly nature
It was
of Star
actually
Wars.
genius. It's Lower Decks is
It's the same idea,
Detours,
right?
same idea.
Yeah. So, and it was Seth Green, the guy behind Robot Chicken,
Yeah.
who did a bunch of great Robot Chicken parodies of Star Wars. So anyway, that was one that kind of quashed, and they could have done that with Star Wars.
Okay,
but
so
I think
here's a
for
question.
Star Wars, the answer to Star Wars is the Lego adventures. Like they always have these Star Wars
Yeah,
Lego
totally.
stories. Those are funnier. They can be goofy, but they're not canon.
Okay, I have a question for both of you then. When we're talking about truth in advertising, right? And we're talking about this.
Oh yeah.
It's Tag and Bink are dead, and it is canon. It's a licensed.
What?
It's a comic.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
know.
Well, then, yeah.
Dark Horse printed
Yeah,
that, right?
that's canon. Okay.
Yeah. Biggs and Wedge are Final Fantasy
So
characters.
you were right.
Biggs and Wedge are also Star Wars characters.
there you go.
You were right,
Final
and the
Fantasy.
Star Wars podcaster was incorrect. I just want that on
Well,
the record.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, well,
I,
he could
I
edit
did
this out,
say
I
the
guess.
wrong name, so I mean.
All right.
If I can Biggs and Wedge are both like rebel pilots. I don't know didn't know what you're talking about.
That's right, Wedge and yeah, Biggs. Okay, so what I was going to say was, Detour, Below Decks. A lot of people would say this is off-brand, right?
Right.
That this is not truth in advertising. Why I like Star Wars or Star Trek is not represented by these two brand affiliates. When it's kind of like restickering, that trend of toy manufacturing in the 80s where you looked at whatever toys you had in the warehouse, and then you re-sticker it with a Star Wars sticker or a Star Trek sticker or a G.I. Joe sticker, and you sell it as that
Or
toy.
you have a sticker that looks a lot like a Star Wars
That's
sticker.
right.
Something very similar.
Right? And we see this at the dollar store all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Right? How do you guys feel about that? Like, how would you feel if someone came to you, Justin, and said, listen, I want to do a Cassian Tonk porn parody. I mean, here's $100,000, right?
See, not that. It's kind of like, Coke is a pretty iconic drink, and then there's like cherry Coke and vanilla Coke
Right.
and all
Brand extensions is what
brand
that's called.
extensions. Yeah, I like the idea of brand extensions to a certain degree, but when you get into a porn parody, I don't think they're never connected to the actual source.
Okay,
They're,
so
not, they're
how
not
far-
certainly not officially licensed. But
So hold on, wait. We know where the line is, Dan. We know where
I think the
now.
line is lower than that.
What
actually.
about an R-rated Cassian Tonk movie?
It wouldn't be the same characters, but it can be set in the same universe.
No, what if they said, no, listen, we got the license, we already paid for that, and we're making this movie because of this
Do you have
loophole.
any other example of that
Right.
working, like a Disney property?
I
That
know
then-
exactly. Yeah. So the
Wizard of Oz. I'm sure there's a horror version of Wizard of Oz.
Okay, not
Return
a
to Oz is a
genre
lot darker.
change, but there's plenty of examples where a license, a loophole in a license is exploited. So you have two properties on at the same time: the Chucky show and the Chucky movie, right?
Is it Chucky
Two different
show?
companies developing those things. One of them with the actual creative team behind Chucky doing it, and one of them with the legal right to make Chucky and not backing down and saying, take us to court if you don't want it.
Seems pretty diluted.
And that's still all R-rated.
Yeah, that's still all R-rated. Right?
So that's not backing up your.
No, it's
your
not backing up
example.
my claim.
We want something that's a PG or G-rated property that was made into an R-rated version. As his mask rubs on the microphone.
I'm thinking.
At what point have they stretched? Like, there's what, 6 Chucky movies now?
Oh, more than that.
Yeah.
There's at least 7 or 8, I think.
And some of them are pretty bad. Some
Yeah,
of
but
them
they're
are
all
pretty
the
funny.
they're
Some
all-
Some of them were shot right here in Winnipeg.
yeah.
Yeah, by the people who made Chucky and have been involved in it from the beginning. So, like, you got to give it to
Their
them.
brand integrity is kind of wishy-washy.
I didn't
these
mind
days.
the last
Okay,
couple
here's a
ones.
brand extension that is actually right on topic and on point for our podcast because we've mentioned it before. The Watchmen things.
Okay.
Okay, so for the dear listeners not sure, here's the context. The Watchmen was written by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, did the art, but he also had quite a bit of say in the storytelling, it turns out.
Not credited as a writer, though. He was just.
No, he was definitely not the writer, but when you visually represent something and make any change, that's your idea, not
Right.
the writer's
Yeah, yeah,
idea,
yeah.
right? So they make this book, and it was supposed to be a 1-year license to DC Comics because at that time, DC didn't keep graphic novels in print, didn't keep creator-owned things in print. So as soon as it was not in print for 1 year, the rights would have lapsed back to DC Comics. That was the agreement. That was the gentleman's agreement also, like, hey, we'll do this with you. Great, we'll split the money, and then it'll be yours again after a year. Great, everyone signs their things, and they carry on. As soon as it's a hit, they just kept it in print.
So they re-release a new version of the Watchmen every year.
And when they don't, they just do a brand extension.
Oh, like what? A movie?
Like the movie, like Before Watchmen, like the Rorschach comic that's coming out right now. These are ways in which the company, the parent company says, listen, according to our agreement, as long as we're doing stuff in print, it's ours.
Yeah, and those are the kind of agreements that lead to bad Spider-Man movies and. That
Well,
kind of
this is
stuff.
what I'm getting at, right? How do you guys feel about that?
I don't like it.
But you liked
Yeah.
the new Watchmen show.
Yeah.
So did I.
It does seem like it has forced a lot of properties to make really inferior products
Yeah.
just to keep.
Just to keep the license. The
Yeah.
Watchmen TV series was not. It was an example of a good execution of it.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, we have to make something Watchmen related.
Your
to keep
Sonic
this.
games are another example of things that aren't right.
I don't know the full story, but like it's so like there's 20 to 30 Sonic games out there, and like 18 to 25 of them are like just.
Virtually everything after the Genesis until Sonic Mania could be
There's some
argued as
good
not
ones
good.
in there, but there's a Shadow the Hedgehog game where he has guns and rides a motorcycle.
Yeah,
right?
no,
like,
it's not great.
They're just.
Oh, almost R-rated, you'd say.
There we go.
Yeah.
And everybody always points to Deadpool as being the R-rated comic book property that
Yeah.
worked, and that was the one that showed studios that you could make money with an R-rated comic
Yeah.
book movie. But Deadpool was always R-rated. That was even the comic book was R-rated.
No, it sure
well,
wasn't.
it wasn't.
No, because it was produced under the Comics Code Authority. So no, it was certainly not R-rated.
Oh, I
Right?
guess
He
they-
had guns, yeah, and he had swords, sure, but it was a Marvel comic book published for children,
Yeah. Okay.
right?
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, it's that.
Touche.
Touche. So that's 2 that you guys gave me. Those are answers you gave me. I didn't have. So credit where it's due. I had nothing to back up my claim. You guys had everything.
But then they made a PG version of the Deadpool movie.
Exactly. To try and reach back to its original line. It's just, right?
Yeah, I think it really depends like how close to the chest that project is. Like if it's a project that you haven't thought about in 10 years and somebody wants to take it and do something with it and they're going to give you money that'll fund your new project,
Yeah.
you're probably going to say, yeah, I like go to town.
By Grabthar's hammer, by the sons of Warvan, you shall be avenged.
What I was going to talk about was the Star Wars slot machines. Which did exist. The first time I went
The
to Vegas.
arm motion he was making had both Justin and I concerned, but now
sorry.
we know what you're getting.
I was pulling the slot on the slot machine. When I first went to Las Vegas, there was the Star Wars. I love them. I'm like, this is so cool. It like plays little videos, and there's like a little touch screen interaction where you can like choose a droid and that kind of stuff. When you like in the part where like Uncle Owen is buying the droids. Anyway, so they did this. This is a very intricate Star Wars gambling machine that takes your money, and now I believe those are all gone. Disney did not renew any licenses. Once Disney bought the property, they got rid of all that stuff. So that does not. That's where the line is for Disney.
This is also on theme, right? Because this is what essentially so many conventions are to people. It's like this genre-themed slot machine. The speculators come and they put in their money and they buy this limited edition cover, or they buy this sketch edition by someone, and then they immediately go to eBay and they try to flip it, and it's like the slot machine.
That's happening with the PlayStation 5 right now too. It's
everything
ridiculous.
Like that. And I just feel like in the long run, that is, you're never going to get rid of that element of human behavior.
People are going to scalp tickets until
yeah. But
forever.
you can create a system that encourages or discourages it, right? And
Right.
Well, hasn't the internet the whole baseball cards thing would have never happened had the internet been a thing, because you could have done one little Google search on that card to find out, oh, no, there's thousands of those out there, and this is not worth me paying $2,000 for this.
You're right.
Yeah, you'd think so. But then what happened is the comic grading system has moved itself in to say, okay, yeah, you have a copy of that book, but can you prove that it's a 9.8? Oh, you can't. You'll have to pay me to prove that it's a 9.8. So the value of your book is secure.
Right, and then the same thing happens with Special Reserve Games, the other podcast I work on, Great Games You Deserve, runs that, and they release limited amounts of video games. So they do a special edition of a video game that was previously only available digitally. So it's like even Sonic Mania Sonic Mania did have a physical release, but it was primarily digital that people purchased it. But if this is a game like a good example is my friend Pedro. Have you ever played that one? It's like you see this talking banana, and it's kind of like
he jumps around and shoots people
Yeah.
in bullet time.
It's just a murder game.
It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. And anyway, so they did a physical release. It had not been released digitally, and they're special packaging. It's sequentially numbered, so there's a limited amount of these. And they do have a problem with people buying a couple. Sometimes they'll buy one for themselves, and then they'll buy one to try and flip on eBay, and then the value is at least doubled.
Yeah.
If they try to sell it for more. And I think that's a little premature because, it's got limited amounts, so it will be valuable at some point. But to try and sell it for twice as much right away seems just like a money grab. It's just greedy, And I don't know how much. It must work because people do it. They continue to do it.
It does work. That's why people do it. But we have, if we're talking to like the dollars and cents here, right? In Canada, what is it? 75% of people who lost their jobs in COVID have reclaimed employment since
that's good.
The comeback. I believe it's only one in, for every person in America that lost their job, right? Or every two people, one of them have been reemployed.
Yeah, okay.
So so conventions, the reason why I gave that long, cold stare when you said conventions will come back, conventions are fueled by disposable income.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
Right? And so it'll be a while before disposable income is so readily available, I think.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
So
that's fair enough.
right? And I'm not saying this as doom and gloom. I'm just looking at, you don't look at a pothole in the road and go, I should drive through that. You drive around it, right? So this is a pothole in the road that I think it's possible to navigate around. Our Kickstarter has done that for this one book, and hopefully it can do that for a bunch of books. And then it's, then it's a few years later, and we all have a vaccine and a chip in our head, and we're on our way to Mars to live on the reptile colony. Something like that. Some future.
Sure.
Right? This is what I'm getting at.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. We were supposed to have a meeting. I was supposed to have a meeting with the publisher today via Zoom, which got canceled because they had to go for COVID tests.
Oh,
So,
no, that's not good.
You know, like it's a reality. It's a real thing.
And the other thing I was thinking about with regards to that is that it's not even just getting COVID. Even getting the symptoms can mess you up.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
if you have symptoms, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Even if it's a normal cold.
Yeah, if you have a
Because,
regular cold, imagine the stress that you are suddenly under. Is
like,
this?
you have to go get tested. You have to wait for your test results to come back. And even if they do come back negative, you still walk around with a sniffly nose and coughing and sneezing. Nobody's going to want to be around you.
Yeah.
So you have to stay away from everybody, even if you have a regular cold.
Yeah, and if you have kids, you worry about that
That's
constantly.
right. Yeah, and
right?
those
Like,
kids, if they get symptoms, they have to stay home from school.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's just you cannot get sick right now. That's just the worst thing ever is getting sick.
So
Well, it used to be a good thing, kind of.
So all of those things are the things that fuel shows, right? You bring
Right.
your kids, you have a great adventure, they run around unattended for a little bit, you know, like you have it's super fun. They're like the greatest place on earth if you're into genre stuff. But all of those things are suddenly going to be restricted with lines and caps and limits
And masks and sanitizer.
interactions and masks and all the things that made it fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And you could just get celebrity lookalikes behind the mask to do the signings now.
You don't even have to do it.
You don't
yeah.
even have to do it yourself.
Yeah,
You
that's
could
right.
just-
It really, I swear, it's Patrick
Right?
Stewart. It totally
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
You can see his bald head. That's exactly it. Anyway,
If I was Patrick Stewart, I'd wear a mask on my face and on the top of my head.
have you guys
just
seen?
for comedic
Have you
value.
seen the ads, the Uber Eats ads
I
of
have,
Patrick
actually,
Stewart and Mark Hamill? Those are hilarious.
Yeah, this podcast is not sponsored by Uber, but I have seen that advertisement. Yeah, it was actually pretty funny.
I love it.
Oh my god. What else do you want to talk about?
I don't know what else is happening.
What else is happening? iCollector, we got 3 issues in the can.
Nice.
Working on issue 4 and
by
5 right now.
By can you mean?
Means they're written, lettered, the art is done, they're formatted for print, they're ready to go. We just have to push print on all
Oh,
of them.
okay. So they're not actually on the website yet.
Not up yet.
Okay.
Not up yet. That was on my list of meetings to have today. That was another meeting that got bumped as a result of events in America.
Okay.
So, you know, a publisher that I was working with is now closed, possibly indefinitely, on account of the current economic status
Right.
of
I
Canada.
think you told us last week. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot of things going on that you got to just pivot and hope for the best.
And so, Justin, now you're not out of the woods completely with Dragon Nanny. You still have.
So
We have the hard part.
here's what I've done to myself. All of August and September, everybody who wanted things done, I said, I have a big book coming out, so I can't talk to you or look at anything until October 9th. Well, October 9th has come and gone. And so now my list for October includes a project from Pure Later I'm not allowed to talk about, 13 portraits for a local gym in exchange for a membership, 3 commissions, robot related, 4 commissions for Kickstarter, like as part of my Kickstarter campaign, 2 scenes for that board game Akarios, and 1 logo. And that's everybody else's stuff. So
Is that
none of my
before
own.
the end of the month you have all that?
That's like, I need to get going on like.
Why are you
all these
talking
things.
to us? You have so much to do.
I'm a little like jittery right
Yeah,
now.
a little-
'cause-
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Yeah, my things are all self-initiated. Like I have the sequel to Automatic Age. I've been working on it, but I've been sticking to my schedule, so I'm not panicked because I've been doing my words every day, and so they eventually pile up into a book. So that part's okay. Working on iCollector is the only one that's kind of panicky a little bit, but I've got 3 issues before we launch, so really I have a 3-month buffer. So if it took me 2 months to do an issue that normally takes me 20 days, you know, that could work out. And then I have some consulting work for a comic company that wants to do some toys. Basically, Will Little's amazing work on Dragon Nanny has meant that someone has reached out to me to say, like, you guys clearly know more than we know. Can you teach us what you know? And I said,
cool.
yeah, we'll do it for money. And they said, okay. So,
That's good.
so there's like that kind of thing, you know, like there's some side hustles. I'm doing some work also for, still for the meat, doing some stuff on that first issue.
Oh, on that note, I have foils for them. Last time
right.
you guys
Is that
were in
these
here.
ones
Yes,
these
that's
ones, right?
one of them.
That's one of them?
Yeah, because that's number 1, right?
So if you're listening, meat fellas, we've got your foils here set
Yeah.
aside. The printing is
They
done.
pre-purchased the very first Doctor Who foil
That's right.
that I
It's
did.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
actually incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so good. And then I've been 3 different film companies have been in touch. Producers really is a better way to say it. Have been in touch since it sounds like since words got out that I will do some of this pre-production that they can double dip on. None of those has solidified into a contract yet, but it's work I didn't envision or think about like pursuing unless it was my idea. But given that everything else that's going on, they're fun projects, they're horror related, and they're, in my wheelhouse. So I may just have a go.
I want you to know that I'm not a complete brain case, okay? I understand completely that it's just a TV show.
Oh, hold.
I know there's no
Wait a minute.
beryllium
Stop for a
sphere,
second.
no
Stop. Wait.
conveyor, no ship.
It's all real.
Oh my God, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
We are doing a FanQuest virtual Halloween ball, kind of. It's just I just called it that, but because we had a Halloween ball last year at this time. It was just before Halloween, and it was great. It was in person. It was just a nightmare when you think about it. When you think about it in terms of today, it was like, man, I'm glad COVID was not around. That would have been awful.
Yeah, it would have been your super spreader event.
Totally would have been.
Bunch of sweaty people in costumes all dancing.
Yeah,
in
that's
a
what it
little
was.
space.
But it was a lot of fun, and we also screened some films. So what we're doing for our virtual one is we're going to have a panel. We're going to have one panel of horror creators, and you'll be on that panel, as well as hopefully J-Ball and some other people.
That's why you're calling it the ball, right?
That's right.
He's
It's just
special
the
guest.
special Halloween J-Ball. And so we'll talk about how, just the genre in general and how you guys create within the genre and why we love it so much, and just have a great conversation about horror because it's a big part of it. And I'm also hoping to get Steve Kostansky on that panel. He's a horror filmmaker from Winnipeg that lives in Toronto right now. His latest film is called Psycho Gorman. It's just exactly what it sounds like.
Okay.
That kind of movie. It's just right up there with like Toxic Avenger, that kind of stuff.
Beautiful.
Anyway, so that's one thing, and then we're going to do some horror trivia, which is always my favorite. I love trivia contests, so we'll have that virtual trivia contest. This is all going to be done over Zoom, of course, streaming to Facebook and to wherever else,
Right.
so people can watch live. And of course, we're not going to charge anybody for it, but we're going to try and raise some money for a charity and that kind of stuff. So it's going to be fun. That's on October 30th, and that's really that. And I have an idea for a book that I want to talk to you guys about after we get off the podcast. I don't want to say it out loud right now.
Dun, dun,
But-
dun. Speaking of ideas for books, I've been hosting 13 Horrors on the 13th of every month.
yeah.
The hour before midnight. So we've got 2 in the can right now. So 11 more months to go. And for people who don't know what we're talking about, 13 Horrors is this brainstorming event that I do for 13 months in a row. The hour before midnight on the 13th of every month, I get some writers together and we plus one a story. We try in 1 hour. We try to get a complete treatment for a horror story,
Like the story breaking episodes.
just like our story breaking episodes. A little bit more
structured.
it's a little bit more structured, but also because we're not recording them to share, we do record them for our own notes. People are a little bit more free to say things that are definitely you wouldn't normally say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I get
Right?
it.
Horror sometimes is about shock,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to be quoted saying some of these things, right?
What
So
about Inktober?
I have not done any
No,
Inktober.
my kids are doing it. My daughter's doing it, I think.
There you go.
We're about
that's
to
it.
draw 100 ink drawings or more. Actually, more like 300 in all the different
It's
books.
Close to 500 nannies.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
So you guys drawing 30 ink drawings in a row is not a challenge.
Not a big deal, no.
31.
And then what do you think about the whole Jake Parker stealing tutorial pages from another artist? Did you see
I think,
that whole
okay,
kerfuffle?
No, what is it? Explain that to me, 'cause I
Yeah.
don't know.
So Jake Parker is a fairly prolific Instagram artist or just online artist, and he's the guy who was behind Inktober. He kind of started that.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know him personally, but I'm good friends with somebody who's good friends with him, and that guy had nothing but good things to say about him. So as far as I'm concerned, he seems like a pretty nice guy. So Jake Parker was coming out with a new book, and to kind of preview the book, he did a post where he just showed a video flipping through it.
it's a book about like how to draw with ink.
It's how to draw with ink. It's all
okay.
about ink techniques. And so this other artist online put together like a 27-minute YouTube video going through that video and like picking out pages and showing how what Jake Parker was teaching about inking is very, very similar to a book that he put out teaching about inking and how Jake Parker stole his work.
Right. But I have 5 books on that shelf over there about inking. That all
That's
have
the
those
thing,
same
right?
sections
Yeah,
in
it's the
them.
same
The
techniques.
basics,
Yeah, the
the basics are universal. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's
Like-
like if I asked you to show me how to throw a punch, right? You would go through the basics that you learn at boxing.
Yeah.
There are lots of variations, but the foundational principles are the same always. That's what I feel about this. This guy is complaining that somebody also knows the foundational principles and put those sections in his book.
It's and then the other red flag was he didn't reach out to Jake Parker or the publishing team about like, hey, is there like there's some similarities between our books? He just went online.
Yeah, that's a red flag for sure. You don't like.
But I
someone's
bet
not
he
willing
sold
to
a lot
discuss-
of copies of his book. Now,
But man, the venom that came
Yeah.
Jake Parker's way, like
people
his,
were already upset at Jake Parker, so it was because his lawyer was like doing cease and desist related to Inktober. So,
Okay.
well, that was so people who would participate in Inktober would then take all their drawings and then like publish books or sell it, branded as my Inktober drawings. But Inktober is like his brand, his creation.
Technically,
He's
his
he's
intellectual.
trademarked it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he had, that's a little.
And the reason I think what happened is that the trademark was probably being asserted while they were putting this book together, right?
Okay.
And so, because it takes about 24 months to go through regular publishing to go from start to
This
finish.
is like when brands are not allowed to say that they say the Olympics in their commercials when they're not officially sponsors of the Olympics. They have
That's
to say
right.
the Summer Games or
Yes.
the games and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
They have
that
to
kind
cut
of
around it. It's my drawings in October.
Yeah. Now, the core thing here is Inktober started as a thing. Let's all share our drawings. Let's all draw for a month. Let's all draw every
it's
day
to inspire
to
and
inspire people. And just as usual, as soon as you sprinkle some money in it, everyone gets sour,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
I'm seeing some great work though from my friends who are doing Inktober.
yeah.
I'm seeing some excellent work.
Shout out to James Gillespie.
Oh, yeah,
he's
yeah.
He's doing his own. He's just doing swearwolves. He's doing 30 different swearwolves. Werewolves saying the most inappropriate things in
Yeah.
giant inked word bubbles.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
it's
so,
great.
you can do whatever you want for 30 days, but it's 500, eh? Yeah. In my mind, I was like 300. 300 is only this many. I was doing some math.
So we have 475 backers on Kickstarter, and pretty much they each get a book. But then there's the people who doubled up as well, and there's some retailer bundles, and then orders are coming in through chasingartwork.com as well because you can still pre-order.
Right.
And
And then all the 100 books are getting donated to schools, and 100 books are getting donated to the hospital. And those 100, 200 books aren't all Dragon Nannies; they're kind of assorted, but
Okay.
everything needs to be sketched in.
So we
We should really be drawing in things right now.
right now. Hold on. So let's say it's 600 books,
Mm-hmm.
just to give a nice round number. So that's 600 minutes,
You got to spend more than a minute on a
right?
sketch.
Yeah, you probably do. But what I'm saying is, if you can get it down to about a minute, this is why when I sketch in books, I do these single line drawings often, like where I don't lift the pen.
Oh,
It's
what's
because
the word for that?
I'm
Contour?
trying to do.
Contour drawing?
There's a bunch of different names. We should check Jake Parker's books. Probably has some.
No, we should check that other guy's
that
book
other
that
guy.
came out first.
But one of the reasons why that developed for me was, if I had a line of 10 or 15 people, you don't want them all waiting 10 minutes, right?
Right, yeah.
So you want them to be able to have their interaction, have a legitimate drawing, right? But literally lifting the pen off to make a number of marks, each one of those slows you down. So I would just do these continuous flow monsters or heroes or whatever. So, you can get it down around a minute, and it's still a nice drawing. So 600 minutes.
So I've got a plan. I want
hours?
to.
It's only 10 hours
We've got a bunch
Without-
of tables in the studio.
with no breaks.
no breaks.
We have all these tables in the studio. Greg and I both have big desks. We've got a nice your old kitchen table from when you grew up.
Do you want
yeah.
the real story?
Yeah,
You want the
yeah,
whole
where's this?
story? From the town of Ethelbert, where my parents grew up, my mother salvaged this old table from my grandmother, which was painted and left aside. She stripped it, repaired it, and put it together, and it was our kitchen table growing up. I've played a million hours of D&D at this table. I've drawn a zillion drawings on the wood of this table. I've probably literally bled into it so often that it's like a family member, as the expression goes. So this is the table that we have here.
And now you're podcasting on it.
And now we podcast.
And signing and drawing things on it.
So many drawings.
So I want to know, while you guys are doing this, I want to know what you're watching on the TV. I want to know. Like, you guys got to show
So
some
here's
live streams of you guys signing. You guys have to do some of that. Kind
Yeah,
of
there's
stuff?
going to be some time lapses, but so I'm going to put all these tables together and just have a long line of books, and then in my wheelie chair, just go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And I'll put something on that I've seen before.
Wait, this is perfect because we can both have a wheelie chair. We'll set
And
it
then
up,
we'll just
and then we can be
race.
socially distanced.
Yeah.
And we can swing around the table. You can set up the sketch. I can knock it off. We can do like we do at shows, but that'll actually
Just
work.
like the assembly line autographs that get going at Comic Cons, and they have like the entire cast of Game of Thrones or something there, and
Yeah.
they just go one to the other, and they.
Well, we
look
play a
at
fun
them.
game where one character will hold up, like you'll draw a little character holding
Yes.
holding something, but we don't know what that something is, and then one of the two of us will draw in the other part.
Ted the Shield Tester.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
end
Yeah.
up with these great, like, you know, it becomes fun instead of this like monotonous draw machine brain time. It becomes a little bit back and forth. So we'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what? You don't know what you're gonna watch? You're gonna wait and see.
It'll probably be a series because it needs to go on for a very long time. My go-tos are usually like a Star Trek, like Voyager or Next Generation, just because they almost play out like radio shows. There's very few times you have to look up to see what's happening. It's all
Yeah.
a lot
Once
of
you know it
talking
well.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
Once you know
So
it well,
that's very easy listening. I only watch. Like if a movie's actually grabbing my attention,
You
I'll
can't
stop
do it.
working and save that movie for later when I can actually pay attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Good to know.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Well, it's gonna be. I look forward to hearing all about it.
yeah, and then the logistics of packing up those 500 books, I look forward to. I don't look forward.
You don't
to.
have to. I can just come get mine here. I can come pick it up when you guys.
We
do
are
it.
going to do that though.
There's gonna be some kind of local pickup option that will arrange some kind of safety procedures and stuff like that. And then there's no option on Kickstarter for free shipping that would have worked in any easy way that wasn't complicated. So we will also be throwing in some extra goodies for any local orders that came in, and
So we're going to have a free pickup option. Like you can come here and get it in person, socially distanced and safely. And then because you already paid for shipping, we'll probably throw in a book or a printer or some other thing as a,
and
incentive.
might have it drive around
I mean,
the
if you'd
city
rather have
night.
we'll contact those people. If they'd rather have it shipped anyway, then that's what they'll get, right? But I think it's just...
Give
we just
everybody
crave human contact a little bit, even through the glass. I'd like to see some faces, right?
Yeah.
So...
Cool.
All right. Well, I think this has been Super Pulp Science, where we've talked about how genre gets made. We've talked about truth in advertising. And this is Gregory Komichuk encouraging you to join the fight and make comics.